everyone, it's John Barrett with Level Up Your Leadership, where I'm going to help you with visual leadership lessons so that you can be your best. I want to talk about the conflict continuum. Now, this is something that Patrick Lencioni, the famous author, has talked a lot about and kind of put together this idea. And I want to kind of run with that and unpack this a little bit, because when we think about conflict, that we tend to think about conflict as a very negative thing. Like conflict is bad and avoid it. And if you've got conflict, something must be wrong. But listen, conflict is a healthy thing if you do it right. In fact, it's necessary for a relationship or a team, anyone coming together, to understand how to have healthy conflict. If you don't have healthy conflict, you're not going to grow. You're not going to push back. You're not going to help each other. And iron sharpen iron. Sometimes that friction is what allows us to get better, to sharpen each other and to get to the middle and figure it out. So if we avoid conflict and we view conflict as all negative and bad and avoid it, it's a bad sign, then we're going to limit our effectiveness. And as a team, we're not going to be effective. There's a lot of teams that run from conflict. They don't like conflict. They think conflict is a bad thing and they're trying to minimize it. No, you want to minimize unhealthy conflict. But the whole goal is to be able to have healthy conflict here in the middle, where it's healthy, where you're able to come to the center and really work things out and get everybody's opinion on the table, get all the different thoughts and come together to find out what real success is and what it looks like. It's only done through healthy conflict in the middle. The problem is this, and as Patrick Lencioni kind of talks about in this, we've got these different personalities that are kind of going on. Kind of this, halo over here, starstruck eyes, with love and all this, and we act like everything's good. And the problem is that if we go to this extreme over here, we call this artificial harmony, artificial harmony. Kind of act everything's good, but it's not. So when you ask somebody, you're like, hey, how you doing? And they're like, I'm fine, but they're not. Inside they are boiling, they are stewing, but they put on the little heart eyes, little halo, and they act like it's all good. Listen, artificial harmony is destructive. It literally hides the truth. It is something that becomes, almost like a toxin inside that not only destroys somebody internally, but it is not healthy for anyone else involved in that, because they don't know the truth. They don't know what's really going on or what's happening. Now, on the other side of this, we've got over here, I'll kind of do these devil horns here and kind of these mad eyes, and we'll put some teeth here in the middle. Over here, we have, I would call this aggressive attacking, AA. Just aggressive attitudes, aggressive attack, very bold, very dominant. We're going to deal with it right now. And it's almost to an unhealthy extreme, where it's just so much tension that it's tearing relationship. It's too much. It's over the top. It comes across as so demanding and so demeaning at times. Now, either extreme over here are bad. Now, these people get all the bad rap. Most organizations I go into and we talk about conflict and how to work through conflict, they say, oh yeah, those aggressive people, wow, they are bad news. At least us over here, we're happy on the, we look like we're happy, but we don't cause drama. Well, listen, these people get all the blame sometimes, but I want you to know that this is just as destructive. Just because someone puts a fake smile on their face and doesn't cause a big wave, the wake and the destruction that is left of that kind of an attitude is equally as unhealthy. So I just say that because the majority of the population from a personality perspective probably lean a little bit more on artificial harmony than they do this aggressive attacking, just statistically with personality profiles and psychometrics and all those things. So I say that just because I want us to make sure that we don't give them the bad rap and think we're all okay over here. Both are as equally unhealthy in a team. But here's the deal. You may be somewhere along this line. You may go, well, John, I'm not that extreme over here where I don't say anything and I just hide behind all my feelings, thoughts, and ideas that I need to get out. Or, John, I'm not that super aggressive. But you're going to land somewhere here naturally. Very rarely does anyone just land bullseye in the middle, right? Where they just say, well, I just know how to do healthy conflict. None of us grow up, come out of the womb and grow up in our life just knowing how to handle conflict. No, you have to be taught. In fact, most people handle it so badly in its unhealthy conflict that it's all over the place. So you've got to ask yourself with your team, where are we? Because everyone on your team is going to be at different points along here. You may have some over here, some right here, maybe another one right there, but they're going to be along these different areas over here somewhere. Rarely does a team just land in the middle. So we've got to talk, and we've got to talk about how we're going to deal with conflict before we have conflict as a team. This is why I love to do conflict resolution training with organizations and with teams and bring them all together so we can talk about how are we going to define what healthy conflict is for us as a team, and how do we get there and not just everybody live out of their own personality. Because if we do that, it's personality chaos. There is going to be conflict everywhere in the organization. So we have to understand that everybody lands somewhere. You land somewhere on this. Where would you put yourself? I mean, you may say, well, I think I land right here, maybe right on the outside ring. Well, listen, be honest with yourself. Where do you tend to land in general? I know at different circumstances, even with different people, you might be on different sides of this, but in general, where does your unique personality, your perspective, where do you tend to land? I know for me, for many years, I was way over here probably. This was kind of me over here. I kind of lived on this side. I wanted to avoid conflict. I didn't like it. I thought, can't we all just get along and everything's good? And I didn't realize that I had to come to the middle. It wasn't healthy. I wasn't being the leader that I needed to be because I was avoiding conversations. I was avoiding those guardrails of accountability to be able to approach people and help them because I just didn't want to do anything that would cause people to not like me. I mean, I must have, it was pride is really what it was. I wanted everyone to like me. And so I had to learn to come to the middle more and more, and I still have to at times. I don't just land there all the time. I got to push myself a little bit. Now, people over here, you may got to dial it down a little bit. So where are you? Think about that. Be honest with yourself. And then think about your team. Where are you as a team? And think, what do you have to do? Now, just a quick note here is this. If you live on this side of this continuum, where you are over here in that artificial harmony, you tend to live somewhere between that bullseye and maybe the extreme over here. Here's what I want to challenge you with and what you need to challenge your team with. They've got to be bold enough to come to the middle. It's going to require boldness. They're going to have to be vulnerable, as Dr. Brene Brown has taught us, to how to step out, how to just be able to be open and create a safe environment where people feel that they can be bold and be able to speak up. So we've got to be bold in our own behavior as a leader to be willing to do that, but we've also got to help train our team for those that live over here how to be bold. Now, over here, the whole journey for those over here is learn how to be humble. Learn how to be humble. So if you're going to be bold enough to say it, people have to be humble enough to receive it. If we're going toe-to-toe and angry at this thing and combating each other, guess what? If people aren't humble enough to receive some feedback, the bold they're not going to be bold anymore. They're going to retreat and say, whoa, don't do that ever again. So we have to understand now, these people on this side say, yes, I want them to be more bold. Why won't those speak up? But listen, you have to understand, people on this side are saying, why aren't these people more humble? Why don't they just listen? They always try to take control and do all these things that are just aggressive. So if this is you and you live on this side, what I want to challenge you with is get that humility, open up, listen, calm down. You don't have to be in control all the time. You don't have to always be so abrasive at times. And so just dial it down a little bit. Come to the middle so that we can have good conversation. Listen, if you build an organization where everyone's bold enough to say it and humble enough to receive it, whether it's true or not, it's just that you're bold enough to say it, I'm humble enough to receive it, we'll come to the middle and we'll figure out what that looks like and we'll work together, not against each other, together, because a team is for each other, not against them. That's the enemy, that's the competition. We are for each other. So we've got to learn how to be bold and how to be humble. If you'll work on this and understand where you at in this process and talk about how you're going to deal with conflict before you have conflict, it's going to help. Now listen, if I can do anything to help you out with conflict resolution training, we do a whole workshop and we work with a team called the Conflict Compass. so that you can understand what is true north, what is healthy conflict. We help you define that, and we help everybody come to that middle and know how to do it so that you can work together as a team. If you're interested in that, reach out to us. Reach out to me, John at johnbarrettleadership.com. Let us know. But I hope this was helpful. Go get the leader guide where you can talk through this as a team. There are group questions where you can talk about conflict and have that conversation about how you're going to deal with it. Because if you get it right and you live in healthy conflict, you're going to be highly successful. If you get it wrong, it's going to be disastrous. So go check out all the guides and check out all the questions on the leader guide at johnbarrettleadership.com. Reach out to us today so we can help take you and your team to the next level.